the 1850s, California was changing, and so was San Diego. America's war with Mexico was over, and opportunities were opening up in the Western territories. Many new business prospects were available. Visitors arrived at the docks of San Diego hoping for a new beginning. They encountered a city and culture vastly different to what they left in cities such as Boston, Madrid, and Paris.
My name is Robert W. Carter, and this is a journal of my first visit to San Diego. At the urging of my friend James McCoy, I've come here with the hopes of starting a business and bringing my family to this new yet strange land. As I disembark, I cannot help recalling an account of this area I read by August Duchamp Chile.
Of all the places we had visited during our stay in California, the Presidio of San Diego was most bleak. It is built on the barren slope of a hill, and has no regular shape, but is a mere jumble of houses rendered more gloomy by the dark brown color of the crude bricks of which they are made. Spread out on a sandy plain below the Presidio are 30 or 40 houses of poor appearance, and a few badly kept gardens. A stream, which dries up in the summer, runs past the foot of the hill and empties into the sea to the west of Point Loma.
My first order of business was to purchase provisions. I find it hard to believe they still use gold dust here. I wonder if I'll need to exchange my hard currency to trade in this area. There seems to be a wide selection of goods available, sold in bulk. Most items must be measured by weight. I made my way to what residents call the Railroad Building owned by James Robinson, where I read news of events in town and found information on a possible location to set up my business. I will try to find the owners and inquire further. To my surprise, the town restaurant was a family home. During my afternoon meal today, I heard a story of the war with Mexico that was quite intriguing. A young lady told the tale of something a young woman of town did.
Maria, knowing the American flag was about to be raised, picked up a carving knife from the kitchen table, rushed out, cut away the ropes holding the Mexican flag, caught it, and hiding it in the folds of her dress, ran back into her house.
In my search for the owners of the building, I finally came across James McCoy, the gentleman who urged me to come to San Diego. I encountered him at the jail that I read about in the news. It also serves as the city records office and courthouse. The jail was housing a prisoner named Roy Bean, oddly enough, the brother of Joshua Bean, the former mayor and current sheriff of San Diego. I spent the latter part of the afternoon in the company of Jack and Rosa Stewart in their adobe home near the town plaza. I had met Jack on a previous voyage and surely wanted to see him again. Also present was Richard Henry Dana, a passenger on my voyage here, who had described the Stewart's residence to me as such. I went into a familiar one-story adobe house with its piazza and earthen floor, inhabited by a respectable lower-class family by the name of Machado, and inquired if any of the family remained, when a bright-eyed middle-aged woman recognized me, for she had heard I was on board the steamer, and told me she had married a shipmate of mine, Jack Stewart. I was glad to hear that he was sober and doing well. I was somewhat shocked by some of the conversation of this meeting. My inquiries regarding the dress of the local women revealed that compared to the streets and towns of the East Coast, the women here seemed uncultured, certainly less reserved, and frankly, practically undressed. They wear only one skirt, one petticoat, and no corsets, barely dressed at all in my opinion. It makes me question the desire to bring my family here. I have been invited to a fandango, a local gathering which should prove most interesting. Crossing the plaza on the way to the fandango, I witnessed the Carrera de Gallo, a somewhat barbaric event which consisted of men on horseback riding by a row of live roosters that have been buried up to the neck. They attempt to pull them out of the ground. It seems to be a contest of sorts. They win if they get the whole rooster, but mostly they seem to just snap the heads off the unfortunate birds. A strange land, to be sure. I arrived at the Casa de Estudio for the fandango. Jose Estudillo had come to San Diego as a soldier for the Mexican army and was granted these properties in compensation for his service. I met another prominent man of the town, Juan Bandini, a Peruvian. He was secretary to Pio Pico, the governor of Mexican California. However, Bandini supported America throughout the war. Bandini's and Estudillo's families are some of the most prominent in town. It was good to meet them, as the community here is small, and being friends with them would be of great advantage. The residence is one of the best in the area, and sits just off the main town plaza directly south of the flagpole. The nearest church is over 6 miles away, so the casa also has become the religious center for the town. At this fandango, more than anywhere in the town, the mixture of cultures was most evident. The volume and pace of the music and the senorita's smoking was a little too much for my Eastern sensibilities. Although it would have been to my advantage to stay, I had to excuse myself to the outside air to clear my head. At last, an environment more to my liking, the saloon. To my complete surprise, as I walked into the saloon, I found standing at the bar Mr. Roy Bean. He was bragging about his simple escape with aid of nothing but a jackknife. The crowd was surprised by the ease of his escape. Upon leaving the saloon, I found myself literally in the center of the plaza, yet found no playhouse, music hall, or any kind of cultural event recognizable to myself. This seems to be typical of the area. The sound of the fandango in the nearby house was the only evidence of any habitation at all. I have my doubts whether my wife and children will find this acceptable.
Well, I guess they did like it here, since our family's been here ever since. Gwen, let's go see the places he visited.
Today, the Old Town San Diego State Historic Park is the most visited state park in all of California and hosts many events throughout the year. Fiestas Patrias, Mexican Independence Day. Fiesta de Cinco de Mayo, 4th of July celebration. Fandango, holiday in the park, as well as many living history and school groups. The events are presented in an effort to help you experience, understand, and appreciate the rich history of Old Town San Diego and its significant contributions to the history of California. The Old Town State Historic Park Interpretive Center hopes you are enjoying your visit to Old Town and invites you to explore the rest of the park and learn what it was like to live in San Diego in the middle part of the 19th century during the birth of California.
What was your name in the States? Was it Thompson or Johnson or Bates? Did you murder your wife and fly for your life? What was your name in the States? Oh, what did they call you back home before you decided to roam? Was it Newman or Nash or Contra or Cash? What was your name in the States? Oh, what was your name, where you're from? And what was the reason you come? Did you fight with your pa or just run from the